Against this right back, Charlie's definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Because you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like.
Tongues!
Because you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again. First things first, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. It is March now. It's a new month, new blessings. Hope you and your loved ones are in great health, and I hope 2024 is kicking along and you lot get whatever dreams, hopes, ambitions, and aspirations you lot desire to achieve. I hope you get that. Once again, I hope you and your loved ones are in great health. Thank you very much for being tuned in. Do me a favor, please subscribe if you haven't. Smash the like button. We're trying to get to 70,000 people. It's a madness. We're on 58 and some change. Before you know it, we're going to be on 60. It's a family thing. You lot are part of the family, wherever you're from, whatever you look like, whatever race, religion, all of that sort of stuff. You're part of the DG Nation. I have to do it on my own, but I can't do it alone, people. So yeah, please smash the like button, comment in the live chat, comment after the video, or leave a comment in the comment section. Boost up the YouTube algorithms. Now, Arsenal play on Monday, which we will be doing a watch along for. But where Arsenal are concerned with rumours and all of these sort of things, let's simply get straight into it. Do me another favour. I know I'm asking for bare favours, but I don't, you don't cost a thing. Make the creative juices start flowing. Any opinions, differences of opinions, all of that stuff, comment them, people. I don't know if ITK is not what they're talking about, but Mikel Arteta is set to spend around 250 million this summer before any sales are made. I mean, 200 to 250 million again. If you can do it for less and find emerging profiles and all of that, great. But to us ignorant football fans, we need household names. You'd imagine a striker is going to cost anything from 60 million to 100 odd million. If we can get a winger, I say if we can, because there's a lot of moving parts. Maybe players that we expect to leave might not leave. Players we expect to buy might have a change of heart. A winger we expect to buy, there might be a spanner in the works. We might buy a striker and say, you know what, Gabriel Jesus, you're a winger as well as a rotationary striker option. I don't know. But in an ideal world, we get that striker for 60 to 100 million, whether that's Ivan Toney, Osimhen, Vlahovic, Sesko, Ivan Ferguson, this Zertsky, this guy, that guy, and the third. A winger is probably going to cost around 50 million if they're a relative household name. Pedro Neto, they're saying 80 million, which I think Wolves will budge on that, but that's a madness. Nico Williams can be done for around 50. If you can find an emerging profile, great, do your thing. But, Mikel Arteta, where a winger's concerned, he hasn't been scared to kind of put the bag down. Ultimately, we didn't get Pedro Neto or Rafinha or Mudryk, but Mudryk in particular was prepared to match Chelsea's offer, but the structure was different, to which obviously his former club, didn't go for, which it kind of worked out for us. Trossard and Jorginho, have done well where Caicedo and Mudryk didn't arrive at the club. I do think all four players are great players, but anything Chelsea touch turns to bronze, anything we touch turns to gold. So you'd imagine that, of course, I think it would be a busy summer for Arsenal, because where outgoings are concerned, you'd imagine Ramsdale's going to leave. That's about 35 to 50 million. Smith Rowe maybe 20, 30. Reece Nelson 10 to 20 on a good day. Eddie Nketiah might bring you a little 30. If we can get Lokonga, Tavares, Tierney, all of these guys off the wage bill, who knows? Maybe even a youngster like Charlie Patton, or pardon me, might be sold. And again, someone like Partey, you're not going to get the 45 million back, but in terms of wages, you might save. So again, if we want to get closer to City and obviously what Liverpool have done, we need to find difference makers. I think we need to improve the depth in our squad. And I'm not asking everyone to be signed for 105 million like Declan Rice and all of that, but we need people that are going to move the needle, that are game changers. If we can find a game-changing striker, if there's a winger that genuinely can challenge Saka and Martinelli for their first team spots and can bring some goals and be a rotation option, great. We all know we need a central midfielder. Obviously, if Ramsdale leaves, you need a backup goalie. And there's probably other things Mikel Arteta wants to do. You know, I think we're well stocked in defense, for example. But, you know, you could argue one more defensive body. My priority would be if you can find someone like Timber and Tomiyasu that can play centre-back, left and right back, great. But you could make a case of a centre-half as well as a left-back, really, because Tomiyasu and Zinchenko pick up a number of knocks and Kyrill's doing his thing. But you'd imagine he wants to return to playing on the left-hand side of defence. And next season, you want to be in a realm where when we can, obviously these players need to play a lot of games, but where we can, if Saliba, Benjamin White and Gabriel in particular, if we can save their legs, probably even Declan Rice and Saka, it'd be great. And, you know, where Declan Rice and obviously Saka with our last recent Premier League games are concerned, I'm quite happy that we've been able to take them off, save legs. Arteta has said we've got one of the thinnest squads. He said you need everybody fit at this point of the season. We're going to need everybody, people. So, yeah, that's encouraging, but I don't know if that's true. This was covered yesterday by myself. Check out the video yesterday. But if you haven't seen that, allegedly David Ornstein said it will be interesting to see if they try to tie Zinchenko down to a new contract or not as he's approaching the final 2 years of his term. So much of this summer business will be contingent on exits. You could envision the likes of Ramsdale, Tierney, Tavares, Lokonga, Smith Rowe and Ketia all being looked at by suitors. I expect a busy summer at the Emirates. And that's obviously true. All of these players are kind of on the peripheral things, have been linked with other clubs and whatnot. Kyril, who's playing on a regular basis now, but was on the peripheral, has interest from Napoli, etc. So you do want to see us obviously bring in players. But it'd be nice to have a decent summer in terms of sales. I reckon Zinchenko will get a new deal. And you know, I think we're dealing with Benjamin White's new deal. We're dealing with Tomiyasu's off the back of the Gabriels, the Salibas, the Sakas, the Ramsdales at the time, the Odegaard, etc. You know, I think they will give Zinchenko a new deal. But you look at Zinchenko, Smith Rowe, both got 2 years left on their deals. Jorginho, we're hearing rumours around the new contract. Thomas Partey is contracted until 2025. And there's probably a couple of other players in and around people where things have to be done. But I hope it's a busy summer. Ornstein has also said, people, a striker is clearly the main focus as they have admiration for the likes of Sesko, Gaia Carez, Ferguson and others. I must admit, the sporting guy, the more I do my homework and research, and I'm not religiously knowing how good he is, I like him. You know, the Championship produces some great talent. He's doing his thing at Sporting. Obviously, as a fan, you're going to be a bit snooty and name brand, but the more I look at him, people, I'm not saying he's the guy, but the more I look at him, the more I'm like, oh, I don't really want Vlahovic and Osimhen again. You know, if we could do this, and he's got interest from Chelsea, I'm not against it. I don't think there's a striker that 100% convinced me in the sense of if you get Gaia Carez, Ivan Toney, Osimhen, Vlahovic, Ferguson, Xerxes, all of these guys, they're all good players. But I don't think everybody, and it's not a bad thing, but I don't think anyone can say, yeah, I'm 100% convinced that's the guy. I hope Mikel Arteta, Edu, and the recruitment and coaching staff are. But we've been linked with these names before. Then there is the long-term desire to bring in competition / backup in the wide attacking area. Neto remains of interest, but he is not the only option, and it is unlikely Arsenal will pay what I understand to be Wolves' asking price of 80 million. Come, man, 50 million, little Reece Nelson thing. Stop acting, Wolves, man. You're asking for a lot. Depending on departures from midfield, a 6 or an 8 might be needed. The long-term links to Zubimendi show Arsenal have substance, and I would love Zubimendi. But I'm not going to lie, we need a midfielder. There's none of this if Jorginho and Partey leave and if midfielders go, we need a midfielder. It's as simple as that. You look at our defense, you look at our attack. They've got the prime ages. You look at the midfield, there's more questions than answers. Declan Rice, profile, age, ability, tactics, he covers all of that. Got a lot of love for Jorginho. But out of 38 games, it depends on the game state and where he comes in. Thomas Partey, wonderful footballer, cannot stay fit. El Nene, got a lot of time for you, my guy, my act, but at the end of the day, you're not good enough and you're barely fit. Lokonga finally looking something like the next Yaya Toure that company said. But could it be argued that Arteta's made this decision up on him already? You're shining at Luton, put him in the shop window. Then you've got the Havertz, the Fabio Vieiras, the Smith Rowes. These guys can play as an 8, but they haven't grabbed that spot. Midfield and Edu and Mikel Arteta, you were central midfielders. So that's the one area. We know defense wins titles. We know attacking players decide games, but it's the midfield battle week in, week out. And if we could get that left-hand side sorted, if we could bring another number 6 to play with or competition or instead of Declan Rice at times, I think we're cooking. As I said, we need 1-2 players that take our level from this to this. And I think it's just about looking after the squad, really, because when you look at our squad, I do think we're built on strong foundations, but playing devil's advocate against my own logic, and let me know your thoughts as well as smashing the like button. Are we really? Because there's more players that have injury concerns than the others. Everybody can get injured, and injuries happen in the Premier League or in football. It's part and parcel. It's like a chef cutting their hand cooking. You get it, people. But at the same time, what players could you bet on are going to be fit for the majority of the season? Raya and Ramsdale, they're goalies, but them. Gabriel and Saliba, I'd say them. Benjamin White, I would say him. Declan Rice, I would say him. Martin Odegaard, I know he had a concussion recently, but I would say him. Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, I would say them. Kai Havertz as well, you'd throw him into that. And I might be missing 1-2 players. Cedric even slightly as well, but he's not going to be here next year. But then, some have more injury problems than others, but Jorginho picks up knocks. Nelson picks up knocks. Big up Nketiah because he stays fit. But Jorginho, Nketiah, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, Jesus, Partey, Nelson, even Smith Rowe, evidently, a number of our players pick up 1-2 knocks, and you need a squad. And this is one thing that I think we need to pattern up really and fix up if we are to win titles or do things at the business end of the season. So we have to see. Defensively, they'll be boosted by the return of Timber. I must hope that Zinchenko and Tomiyasu shake off their injury problems. Because of that issue, you could definitely see a player arriving in that part of the pitch. Jorginho's agent, as I said, rumors are saying Jorginho is going to be given a new deal, not just extending his activating, better yet, the 1-year option. His agent has said, I can see him fitting in well at Lazio with Sarri or at Juventus, but also at Napoli, Inter, and AC Milan. They are 2 great clubs. Roma has never been an option. Arsenal have priority in any case. We want the right club for him. So Arsenal have the priority, but it's not Arsenal be all and end all. And for Jorginho, he's clearly valued on and off the pitch. He's clearly one of Mikel Arteta's extension of the coaching staff. He's clearly happy at London and at the club and in the role he plays, being an experienced individual. But maybe he wants to return to Italy or playing under a gaffer like Sarri. Maybe there's a Saudi payday. Maybe there's a return to Brazil. I don't know. I think he'll stay at Arsenal, but you just never know until it's signed and sealed, people. Once again, Arsenal will also look to sign a new central midfielder with Zubimendi among the club's target. And Sammy Motbell has also said in order to supplement Saka and Martinelli, Arsenal will be looking for an out-and-out winger, people. Aaron Ramsdale's been linked with AC Milan. Couldn't begrudge him for that, people. Ikram Konor has said that, AC Milan are looking at him. But unless they sell Mike Migan, does it make sense for Ramsdale? And half the clubs Ramsdale's linked with the exception of Wolves, which could be a good move for him. If you go Newcastle, there's Nick Pope. On paper at Chelsea, Kepa's not going to be made permanent at Real Madrid. You've got Sanchez and you've got that Petrovic guy. Now, if you add Ramsdale, who is the number one? AC Milan, you've got Mike Migan, who's probably labelled as one of the best keepers in the world or top 5 in his role. Unless he's moving on, does it make sense Ramsdale going to AC Milan, which is a prestigious club, lovely country in Italy, might get more regular football, etc., but it doesn't make sense, really. Is there an angle to loan out Ramsdale rather than sell him? But I just think the club will say, you know what, Raya was our first choice once upon a time. Ramsdale presents an opportunity to bring money in. And it's a shame, man. Big up Raya, but it's a shame that Ramsdale's gone. Declan Rice has been speaking. He said, this year, I feel everybody, including the manager and staff, everybody's learned from their mistakes. Everyone's stronger. They have more belief. If we go down, there's still that confidence and mental strength in us that we can push on and win games. Like I said, the league is so strong this year and anything can happen. And there are 12 games to go. The main thing is we're right in it because at Christmas, we had a little wobble. We lost 2 games on the bounce, which wasn't good. So, yeah, big up Declan Rice. And he's also been speaking about how I like the quiet confidence from him where he's saying, he basically said, paraphrasing, I'm not being funny, but I'm doing the same things I was doing in a West Ham shirt. I knew I was a good player. Obviously, Arteta is, making him press higher up the field, making his passing set pieces. He's becoming more complete in that regards. Now, Mudryk has been linked with a move to Arsenal, obviously, today and this week, people. I think we could all say we don't think it's going to happen. The Athletic did say that Mudryk cried his eyes out when he couldn't get the Arsenal move, and it still says we have an interest in him. Dean Jones has poured cold water on it and said, it sounds like nonsense that Arsenal would want to sign Mudryk now. I don't see a world where they believe there'll be much value in the deal. So unless Chelsea are willing to take a huge hit on him, there definitely doesn't seem to be much sense to it. I haven't heard great things about Mudryk since he arrived at Chelsea, although I do think there are some reasons for that. I still think he's a quality player. This article has also once again said we're still interested in Pedro Neto. We've gone over what Jorginho has had to say. We've still been linked with Fiorentina star Michael Kanyonde, people, a talented right back who's drawing interest from City, AC and Inter Milan. And he's only 19 years of age, valued at 10 million. So maybe that's something we're looking at. Apparently, this former CEO of Everton and Villa believes Arsenal will avoid breaching financial regulations despite making a loss of 52 million. We know we're not in trouble in that regard. So that's just some clickbait. Arsenal are still being linked with Fenerbahce defender Ferdi Kadioglu. Forgive me, my Turkish supporters, for mispronunciations. You know, we didn't get Sasha Boy, so maybe that is a market we're looking at, but I don't believe that really. Arsenal are still interested in Douglas Luiz, allegedly bring him to the carpet, people. And obviously, Jacob Ramsey has been rated at around 50 million, and he's attracted interest from Arsenal and Newcastle. Would you lot be keen on him? Let me know. Benjamin White has given an interview to the Evening Standard, and he has said, on his mindset, it comes from since I was young. I want to win everything that I do. I remember being young and always wanting to win and play aggressive and do as much as I could to win. My missus and I play a lot of games at home, and I wouldn't be letting her win. We play bat and ball a lot, you know, this magnet game. And what about if his wife, Millie, suddenly starts winning? Yeah, the ball gets lost. Fair enough. Moving away from his missus and whatnot. Some of the videos I've seen, maybe others don't see it, but if I lost a runner or if I don't do that, they'll probably score. It comes back to doing anything to win. I like Benjamin White because he's a shithousery don and he's a specialist. I think that Benjamin White is the most underrated player in the team, if I'm honest. And I don't know what Southgate's got against him. Don't know what happened there, but you need to reintegrate him back into the plans for England. But from a selfish Arsenal point of view, the very fact that we saved his legs going off to international duty, fair enough. He said, I know I'm not going to stop everyone, and I know I'm not the best 1v1 defender. Fair enough. But I know I can do things to help the team in the game situations against their winger. Every game, normally the winger is the best player, so it's always a challenge. I always do my homework and try to stop him. There's all sorts happening at set pieces, standing on your feet, elbows. It's okay. I just have to stand in the way and see what happens. He then said, I think the players we've added as well will step up in those big games and provide what we need. I think we have improved massively as a team, and I think we are in the same position this year. It will be very different. I hope so, inshallah, my guy. We haven't got anything, so there's nothing to lose. We are just going to go out there, do our best, and try and perform like we have in the last games. Then he said, when speaking about inverting and whatnot, I think when you have Mikel as your manager, it's quite easy and he makes it simple for you. There are just a lot of instructions of where I need to be, when I need to be there. I think most players could play in that position because the key, if you want to play for Arsenal, if you've got to be so technically gifted, strong and fast, I think most of the players could do it. I'm comfortable playing in there, but there are completely different things to look at. Like for me, playing centre-back and right-back, I only have to look forward. I never worry about what is behind me. This role is completely a different part of the game. Fair enough. And he then said, that's one of the best things I'm able to do. I know people say I don't like football, but I go home and football is not on my mind. I can just be a normal person and relax. When I'm here at training, it's intense. Fair enough. I like that from Benjamin White. Once again, allegedly, Arsenal are still keen on Pedro Neto, but as it stands for 80 million, you can forget about that, people. Gaio Queiroz has apparently dodged questions on his future. He said, I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the season, but I don't think about that at the moment. We've got a lot of important games coming up. To stay another year, yes, I really like it here. I think I'll continue to play a lot, as I've said since I've been here. But as I said, this is football and anything can happen. That's not what I think about. He's got 31 goals and 11 assists in 34 appearances. So it's no coincidence Arsenal and Chelsea, among other clubs, have been linked with him. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts on everything we've discussed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and whatnot, people. Don't forget we will be watching the Manchester Derby together on Sunday. And on Monday, we'll be watching the Sheffield United Arsenal game. Please make sure you're checking out the rest of the content. But most importantly, stay blessed, stay safe. See you soon.
There's always that active and that defending. I think it's like